So over the last 60 or so days, Celebrity has made a ton of changes. And I personally been holding back a little bit before making this video because I know changes do come in waves, and I wanted to make sure that the wave has finally subsided and we can talk about it and we can get all the information out there in one video versus a whole bunch of little videos. So stay tuned. Hi everyone, Rob from Sea-kers, and today we're going to talk about the changes Celebrity has made over the last 60 days. I've been holding back this video, like I said before, because I wanted to make sure that the changes kind of slowed down and we can really talk about these changes in a more comprehensive way. We're going to talk about when the change occurred, how the initial reaction from the community was about the change. We're also going to talk about what Celebrity said this change was for, because we just recently had a meeting with Celebrity. All the travel agents had a big sales meeting with Celebrity, and I want to get that information out to you so that you can hear from the horse's mouth what Celebrity's intent was for the change. And then finally, I'm going to give you my feel of what the change is all about. It's just my personal feeling where Celebrity's kind of going with this change and what it might also entail for the future with Celebrity. So sit back. We're going to kind of go through this as chronologically as best as I could recall, because as I said, there was a lot of changes over the last 60 days and we're going to touch all of them. Now, before I get into the meat of this video, I would just like to thank everybody who has become a member of the Sea-kers community. Thank you so much for subscribing. We have passed that 10,000 subscriber milestone. Now on to the next one. Let's get to 25,000, folks. So if you have not become a member of the Sea-kers community, hey, think about subscribing. Turn that notification bell on. It's free to you and you get videos just like this one. Tips, tricks, information about cruising. I know you would love this channel. So think about subscribing. Turn that notification bell on. It is so appreciated by us. Thank you so much for doing it. And while you're down there, hit that like button. It does help that YouTube algorithm. It does help other people find this video if they're looking for information about Celebrity and the changes that have occurred. Thank you so much for doing that. Alrighty, so now let's get into this. Let's talk about the different things that Celebrity has done over the last 60 days that really kind of turned the community upside down. So the first major change that Celebrity did over the last 60 days was the allowing of vaping in the casino. Now, this came to the community with a bang, I guess is the best way to put it, right? A picture came out there. There was a lot of people going, what the heck is this? It was a surprise, and people just didn't understand what the heck was going on. I could understand why people do not want vaping going on in the casino. They think that it might just expand outwards. I call that scope creep. As a software developer by trade, that's something we're definitely afraid of. We know that how things can be built around a certain kind of container, and then eventually people might try to, spill outside of the container, making the project or making the effect of what you're doing, the change that you're doing, grow further outwards. That's something that people were deathly afraid of. Me personally, I didn't care much about the vaping smell. It does not bother me nearly as much as the smell of cigarettes. So I was kind of neutral, but I know a lot of people were just up in arms about it. The bulletin boards went bonkers. We then learned that this was just a test pilot on a couple different ships. It wasn't going to expand outwards. People were now touching base with all their Celebrity reps that they know of, sending emails to corporate office, letting them know about what they think about this program. They now also took in a lot of the different information from the surveys, what people thought about that. And just recently in the sales call that we were with Celebrity on just this week, Celebrity made it be known that this vaping project, this basic trial balloon that they put out there, will basically end, and it's not going to carry forward, and we will continue not to have any smoking whatsoever inside a Celebrity ship, which is a really, really good choice, I think, because I just think the community really understands what Celebrity is, how it always was, with no smoking. Changing that, the value of that versus the people who would like to smoke in the casino with vaping versus the ones that just don't want and choose Celebrity specifically because they don't want to walk through a casino with stale smell. Even if they don't, gamble, they don't care. It's just a thing that they don't want to have to deal with when they walk through. I think Celebrity made a great choice here. As I said, me personally, I was neutral. I think, though, they made a great choice here because mainly, I think if they did start allowing vaping there, you might see other people try to kind of push the boundaries, see if they can take a little puff here, a little puff there. Maybe Celebrity will allow an indoor smoking venue such as a bar with vaping. It might have creeped forward someplace else. So I think it's good to kind of just say, this is the rule for inside, have a hard and fast rule, and not necessarily have people try to push the boundary, push the boundary, push the boundary, because once you give someone an inch, they take a mile. Now, the next big change we're going to talk about is Butler service in the retreat for Sky class cabins. Well, Celebrity basically did a complete revamp of how butlers are going to work on these type of cabins, and it caused a huge uproar in the internet, in the blogosphere, you name it. It was just a horrible PR nightmare that occurred. You're talking about people who are spending a lot of money on a service that they thought was being pulled away. No information, nothing was given out there in the world, and it allowed people to speculate, become, investigative reporters that were basically, amateurs. So it was amateur hour at the investigative reporter bar, and there was a lot of bad information out there. People saying people are being fired. People are saying this is just not going to be the same level of service. A lot of, just innuendo and just bad PR. And Celebrity did not get out in front of this. They should have done that before the change was implemented. Let people know if this is the reason why we're doing this. This is why it's going to be better. And they could have avoided this whole brouhaha, I'm 100% sure. But they didn't. And now they had to deal with this nightmare. And hopefully they've learned from this. Me personally, I do not travel a lot in suites. I do travel in them. When butlers, I never was in a caliber of a cabin beforehand that had a butler before. Hopefully one of the first times when I'm going to travel in a Celebrity suite, I was kind of really liking the idea that I might have a butler and see what it might really entail and what kind of service I get from that. Well, I'm not going to have a personal butler now, but I'm still going to have the same level of service according to Celebrity. The main reason why Celebrity did this was because they received a lot of negative comments in their post-cruise surveys about butler service in these cabin categories. It was just something that they knew that they had to retool because it just wasn't the level of service they wanted for these cabins, because people pay a lot of money for it, and they wanted to make sure that these negative surveys kind of go away. So they retooled. They basically decided to say, you know what, we're going to have a more efficient way to provide these services. We're going to train up the cabin steward to do certain things here. We're going to make a team approach for the people who are the prior butlers so that they can evenly distribute the workforce to the requests that are coming in at any given time, so that there might not be one person that's just sitting around. Everybody's busy. Everybody's doing what they need to do to get the level of service for everybody at the point where people will be happy. So that was the reason. And they just didn't communicate it. But you know what? That's what happens. According to Celebrity, not a single person was fired because of this, even though there was a lot of innuendo, a lot of false reporting from those amateur investigative reporters about people being fired. Nobody really knows why maybe some people were fired. There was speculation that was because of this. Who knows? But according to Celebrity, no one was fired because of this change. It was just basically retooling, retraining to kind of get the level of service where they wanted it to be so that those negative comments on those surveys go away. Well, let's see. That's what I said. I will maybe see a Celebrity suite coming up next year. That will be something where now I can make a decision saying, you know what? They did a good job for what they call butler services. And I can now speak with some sort of authority on there. But until I actually physically see that for myself and experience that for myself, it's hard for me to talk about it. But I did talk to some of our clients that did go on Sky Suites, and they said that their level of service was good, if not better than what it was before. So that's a good thing. It sounds like Celebrity did the right thing here, but they just didn't do it in the right way, right? They did it in a PR nightmare way, and hopefully they learned from that. So the next change that we're going to talk about is some of the amenities that they have for your room that you just were kind of expecting based upon the room that you booked. The first one is your evening chocolates. Well, Celebrity decided to give you chocolates now only on your first night, your last night, and on gala night. It was a change that they made basically because they thought it was just food waste. I don't think they're thinking they're going to save tremendous amounts of money by not giving chocolates. But you know what? If you still want your chocolates every night, you can ask. That's just one, again, another PR type of thing. Celebrity making a change like this, they should just let people know, hey, we're changing your nightly chocolates. If you want them every night, just ask your room store. And then it would have just avoided all of the brouhaha, all the craziness on the internet. Just do that next time, celebrity, and it will make your life so much easier. It's not a change if you don't want it to be a change. You can have your chocolates every night, folks. The other big change was with cannabis. You can usually expect your cannabis to show up if you booked like a concierge classroom or an aqua classroom or a suite room, show up around 3 p.m. And now it's not going to show up automatically. You have to ask your room steward to have the cannabis show up. You also have to let them know when you would like them to have it, because Celebrity was just seeing a huge amount of food waste with this program. So they decided, you know what, if you want it, ask for it. They could have done this in an easier way. They didn't have to kind of put this on the room stewards. You know, the room stewards have a ton of things going on the first day anyway. To have another interaction, another question, and another form to kind of fill out with each and every cabin, that's asking a lot. And I could understand 100% how it could slip their minds. Maybe if they just put a form like in your room when you got there to kind of say, these are the nights that I want my evening cannabis, and these are the nights I don't. And when I do want them, I want them at this time. And then we could just leave it there for the room steward, and they would have it. And it would have been much easier to understand by people. They wouldn't like expect all of a sudden cannabis and they don't show up because the room steward forgot, and then now nobody's bringing them cannabis. They could have just avoided the nightmare. It would have been better. But they did it wrong. It is what it is. But you can still get all these things. It's still included in your fare. You just have to ask for them now, folks. The next thing I'm going to talk about is cookie craze, or some people like to call it cookie gate. Well, this is another just bad PR scenario with Celebrity on this one ship that they were doing a pilot program, and just bad timing on how they implemented this type of thing. And it just was not a good way to kind of make people deal with, especially when now they're on hyper alert. Well, Celebrity introduced on one ship a concept of a really special cookie. We're not talking about like a little cookie that we're used to getting at a Cafe Al Baccio that are in the jugs. We're talking about a really nice big cookie with, you know, really cool little drizzles and choices on the top, and it's waffled on the bottom. We're talking a really nice cookie for only $2, right? You know, you would go to Playmakers or, you know, the Rooftop Grill and get a very similar cookie in specialty restaurants, or, you know, paying a la carte for it in Playmakers on Royal Caribbean. And, you know, Celebrity was introducing a, I guess you would call it a premium cookie in Cafe Al Baccio on one ship to see how people would like it. For $2, it was pretty darn cheap. And people are like saying, oh, and a 20% commission. Well, everything has a 20% commission if you're buying something extra that's food or drink related on a cruise ship. I don't know why people went bonkers about the 20% tip on that for delivering a cookie. It's just the way it works. It's a 20% tip for delivering a drink to your location. So it is what it is. I don't know why people just got up in arms about that. But anyway, it was just bad timing because people are extremely sensitive to all the other changes. And the other thing was, it was in a confluence with another thing that they were trying to do in Cafe Al Baccio on this ship to try to avoid the long lines when people are getting coffee and getting snacks, to kind of deal with the amount of staff that are in Cafe Al Baccio that are there, and just trying to deal with people who are just wanting small snacks and not wanting coffees and causing long lines. They're thinking about ways to kind of lower the lines there at the same time, which meant the cookies kind of disappeared and people thought they were gone for good. Well, it wasn't because of that. They were trying two different things at once. It was a bad confluence. Again, poor execution on Celebrity's part. I wish I can, you know, talk to people there to say, you got to have people think this through. You got to make sure that you don't overlap these type of changes that can be, you know, intermingled and make people think that it's somehow related to each other. They just were, you know, just not thought out well. What to do here? Well, Cookie Gate has now ended. The change here was more to see if this is something people would like. I think I would like it. I'm pretty sure I might have tried the cookie. Now I'm not going to be able to try the cookie because everybody went crazy and everybody brought out their pitchforks and torches and stormed the castle. Now I get no cookies. That's sad. I don't know. hopefully they bring it back, and hopefully it's a real thing and they do it right. And you know, there's only 20 cookies a day special if you want one, and I would make sure I get to Cafe El Baccio to get that special cookie at least once during my cruise. The next thing I want to talk about with celebrities changes is the changes that have been reported on in the main dining room. There's been a lot of, speculation here, a lot of wondering what the heck's going on. There's new items that are showing up for a charge. There's just some tweaks going on here and there with this item and a new item here and a removed item there. Well, Celebrity is doing a lot of changes in the main dining room with their menus, and they're kind of trying to get a new direction on where they want to go with 2024 and beyond with their main dining room menus. So expect changes, folks. This is what we were told during that meeting that we were just in as travel agents. Expect changes. None of these things are permanent right now. They are working very, very diligently to come up with a brand new dining experience in the main dining rooms throughout the Celebrity fleet for 2024. They're trying things out. Prices that you're seeing with some new specialty items, that's another thing that they're looking at doing. Sometimes people like going to the main dining room for a special meal versus going to a special restaurant. It's cheaper. Maybe some people in their group don't want to spend the extra money for a specialty restaurant, but somebody wants a better steak or maybe a lobster tail. They're trying little things out that way too, to kind of just enhance the environment and enhance the experience, to kind of be more flexible for people as well. So kind of go with the flow here, folks. That's basically what we're saying here. Don't try to read anything into it as something that's permanent right now. There's a lot of flux going on in the main dining room. Just understand that ahead of time and you'll be fine. Now, the biggest change that I'm struggling the most with is the one that was most recently announced, and that's with the all-included package. Starting October 4th for individual travel, you will no longer get tips included with the all-included perk package. That's a huge change, folks. It's just something that you're just going to have to deal with. I don't know if this is a hidden increase. I'm going to be doing some of my own investigative reporting for this. I have some prices of what cruises are going for right now with the all included. We'll see what the price is when October 4th rolls around and see if the amount is commensurate with just the tips pricing. So I'm not 100% sure. We'll soon find out exactly if this was sort of like a quote unquote hidden increase in price. That's the thing that I'm most concerned about. Now, there's also an effect with group pricing with these things, folks. The group prices, when we get groups with Celebrity, used to include those three amenities: your tips, your Wi-Fi, and your drinks. Now, with groups, any new group is just going to have those two amenities, the drinks and the Wi-Fi included with it, no tips. Any existing groups that you have that don't have people already booked into them, there's no name associated to it, then those rooms, if you get someone into that room before October 30th, they will then have the tips included. But after October 30th, those groups will no longer have the tips included. Celebrity will be renegotiating those prices for those rooms with us. We'll see exactly what those prices go down to. I'm very curious. I got some information here that hopefully I will be able to see if there's a hidden increase in pricing, and I'll report back when I know more. But that's what's going on, folks. October 4th is the date if you're booking individual travel, where if you want tips included in the all-included package, you need to book before October 4th. If you want to book with me, with any of our group rates, if I have a group rate for that exact sailing that we're talking about, October 30th is the date that you want to think of, because that's the last day we can have tips included with the all-included package. Otherwise, after that, we can always take care of tips as something that you prepay within your booking, or, you just wait until you get on the ship and you pay it with your folio when you get off the ship. So there you go, folks. Those are all the changes that Celebrity has done to us over the last 60 or so days. It's a huge list. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hey, give it a big thumbs up. It really does help the YouTube algorithm. It helps other people find this video if they're trying to figure out exactly whatever the changes Celebrity is doing right now so that they can make a good informed decision. And if you haven't become a member of the Cruise Seekers community yet, hey, think about subscribing. Turn that notification bell on. This way you get information like this sent to you automatically. You'll get to know whenever we put out a brand new video about information about Celebrity Cruise Lines, about Norwegian Cruise Lines, about Royal Caribbean, you name it, we cover it. And if you like cruise deals, we do that once a week too. We do a once a week episode of great cruise deals that I have found so that you can book a great cruise at a great price. So yeah, think about subscribing, turn that notification bell on. It really does mean the world to us. Thank you so much for doing that. If you have any questions or comments about these changes, hey, leave them down below. We love comments. We love talking with you folks. If you want to talk about any one specific item, if you have a question about any one specific item, leave it just down below. We'll get right back to you. So until we talk again next time, this is Rob from Sea-kers reminding each and every one of you to always seek the seas. Bye now.